Hi, my friends. Welcome to Inside the Minds of Authors. I'm DC Gomez, your host, and also an indie author. I'm thrilled you're joining me today for another fun interview with a passionate author. We're going to kick off this show with an exciting reading, so let's get started.
I am Elaine Sugar. I am the author of a 6-part coloring book / storybook series called Cell Phone Sir Sugar. My book series is all about teaching children the power of positive thinking and speaking. The book that I will be reading from is the one titled Lil Science Experiment. And I am going to start towards the center of the book, but just know that there are two classmates that are very competitive, both excited about science, and they both want to win first place in the science fair. Every day, Lil got to class early and worked hard on her experiment. Nikki was always there first, and she worked hard too. Every day, Lil worked on her bubble, 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 and every day Nikki worked on her boom, boom, boom. Both girls worked hard in class. How is your experiment, Nikki? Asked Lil. Mine is a big girl experiment, and I'm not sharing with you, said Nikki. That made Lil sad for a minute, but then she kept working hard. The next day before the science fair, Lil finished her experiment. She was so happy. Nikki had finished hers too, but she thought of one more thing that might make it better. Nikki wanted an even bigger boom, boom, boom. Then Mrs. Catty said it was time to go outside to the playground. All right, class, she said, it's time to go outside and play. Yeah, said Lil. Come on, Nikki, let's go play, said Lil. No, I'm going to stay and finish my experiment, said Nikki. Nikki, you are doing great, said Mrs. Catty. Come outside and have some fun. You know you can only work on your experiments when adults are with you, said Mrs. Catty. So Nikki was made to go outside. While the rest of the class was playing outside, Nikki snuck back into the classroom to finish her experiment. Suddenly, a loud noise scared all of the children on the playground and Mrs. Catty too. Boom, boom, boom. And I will end the reading there so that you can find out what all that noise was about and what happened when Nikki snuck back into the classroom. When you pick up that book, that's Lil Science Experiment.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Minds of Authors. Today we have a fabulous children's author, Miss Elaine, with us, who just gave us an exciting reading. I was like, wait, what do you mean you finished? I'm not going to know what happened? Did she blow up the school? What is going on here? I'm such a kid. I wanted more. So, Miss Elaine, welcome. How are you today?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. I am very excited.
We are thrilled that you're joining us. We're so excited. I got a sneak peek of the book, so I'm like inside behind the scenes of what's going on. So it is
Yes.
beautiful. It is so exciting. It is such a powerful message. So let's jump right in. Where did you
Yes.
come up with this idea for this book?
So I am very passionate about childhood development. It's something that's been with me for years since I did some volunteer service for the Police Athletic League years ago. And during the COVID shutdown, as a lot of us did, I turned to news and radio, and I was reading this article, and a scientist shared that 95% of the messages children receive about themselves are negative. And I just found that so concerning. It just struck a chord. And as I read more and more about it, it was talking about all of the negative impacts that low self-esteem have on children, like their inability to focus in class, eating disorders, all type of self-esteem complexes. And I said, you know what, let's do something about this. And I did more and more studying on if you can train your mind to think positively about yourself, your outcomes in life are so much more positive. It's documented that at most critical stage to train children is from ages 0 to 7. So I targeted very young to try to start getting this message out that you need to think and speak positively about yourself. And you need to see it almost just as important as eating and drinking. Thinking positive about yourself needs to become your norm, because if we don't start young, then it's such a disadvantage.
It is such a powerful message because we now see adults who are dealing with self-esteem issues. You know,
Absolutely.
it's one of the things I do is I teach adults to become confident, to battle their self-esteem and their self-limiting beliefs, but it starts at that age.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important. So when we are teaching children to drink water and to eat vegetables, I'm putting positive thinking and positive speaking about yourself right on that list. It's just as imperative.
You have a message that is so important nowadays. And I think every day, let's be honest, not just during COVID, but as a whole. So when you
Yes.
decided to create this specific story, what drew you to this book specifically? What was your inspiration?
You know, I took a lot of it from my childhood, and I do think there's a place for all types of children's stories, but I wanted this one to focus on just everyday life and the types of issues and challenges that children within the age range of 5 to 10 would encounter on a daily basis. And I wanted them to be presented with problems that they're likely to deal with, to give them some ideas and incorporate some lessons that they can leverage when they run into these situations in real life. And then I weaved the message of positive thinking throughout the books. So in every book, in every situation, the child always has a positive statement that they reference that help them push through. And all of those positive statements always end with, I am loved more than all the cakes, cookies, and ice cream in the world. I can tell you I love you, but as a little child, if you think about that, you think about all those good cakes, cookies, and ice cream, and you say, I'm loved more than that. Yes, you are. So, no, whatever situation you are working through, you can pull through it and remember you are loved.
Especially for a little kid, let's be honest. You're comparing me to cake? That's huge. And
And
you love me more?
exactly. So
You
that's where it all started.
whew, you love me more than cake. I'm like, I keep telling that to my best friends and my family's like, I love you more than a kid loves cake. And they're like, that's a lot of love. I was
Right.
like, I know.
Exactly.
The fact that you're using it, you just have my heart. I was like, oh, speaking from a true soul to soul, I am feeling this.
Yes.
You said this was the series. How many books do you have so far in the series?
So far, I have six. So there are three books that are centered around a little boy named Will, and he's named after my father. And there are three that are centered around a little girl named Lil, and she's named after my mother. My mother were Willie and Lily Sugar. And it's so funny. One of my friends told me nobody uses those names anymore. So I try to chop it off and make it Will and Lil so that it sounds a little cooler.
Might sound a little bit more appropriate for our times, but we still know
Yeah.
Wills. Come on now. We still know Willies.
Yes.
Not number one in the list of names for 2020, but it's still there. Let's be honest.
Yes. So there are three that feature the little boy, three that feature the little girl, but all of the books have a consistent character, and that is the cell phone. So the cell phone's name is Sir Sugar, and Sugar is my last name. But in the book series and in the name of my LLC, it stands for Saying Unforgettable Good Affirmations Regularly. So we all know that affirmations are just very positive statements that you speak to yourself about yourself. So I incorporated that into the title. So he is Cell Phone Sir Sugar. And in all of the books, he's the one who teaches the children the affirmations that they use throughout the stories. And there's a unique affirmation or statement that helps the children through each of the books.
I like the connection you're making within the series, and it's so
Yes,
appropriate. Like,
yes,
kids can relate to a phone. They know what a phone looks like. Most of them have it.
exactly. Yes,
Oh, that is perfect. They also understand, people give me information in the phone. I communicate in a phone. So those connections visually and subconsciously for them is there. So, ooh, that's
yes.
awesome.
Yes, and he's also a cute little robot. So he's almost like an app in the phone. So when you see a picture of him, it's a cell phone, but he's actually a little robot. So he's cute. Combines two things that kids like: a cell phone and a little robot.
That's about words. They're going to be thrilled about it. When you decided to put this book together, it's also a coloring book. Why?
Yes. I thought about it, and I want the children to walk away thinking about the lessons they learned in the book. And I want them to also spend time in the space thinking about what happened and what did this little child do and that child do. And when you finish reading a story, it stays with you. But when you have an activity to do in that book, it keeps you there longer. So when you finish reading the books and looking at the pictures, you go back and you start to color and you're thinking about it even more. I'm getting a double bang for my buck.
That's a good way of keeping it engaged within the material and still
Exactly.
involved. Ooh,
Exactly. And not only that, but I see parents and teachers and adults that are in children's lives using these as a tool. And so I wanted them to have something for the children to do that was still related. So, in addition to the coloring in the book, I also have games related to all of the books that are free on my website.
so anybody can go to your website, download the games, use them at home, use them at school, and have that extra piece of learning that's still fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How long has it taken to develop this? Because this is a whole program. This is not just a book. This is an entire development system. How long have you been working on this?
You are correct. So, this has taken me about 7 months. Right now, I'm working on developing an actual curriculum for teaching children about positive thinking and speaking, and they are based around sugar. So it's saying unforgettable good affirmations regularly, and I break down each letter. When I say I want you to say it, this is what I mean. I want you to say it multiple times to yourself and be confident. And I'll describe that, and I'll go through this curriculum as I'm training them, and I will teach them about each letter in detail, and there will be exercises to reinforce the learning and make sure that we check for understanding.
Have you been able to go into the school system with this?
So, because of COVID, I have been limited. So, I have been able to make some contacts with several schools, principals. We have been disseminating information, sharing information over email. But right now, understandably, schools are, limiting the interaction even between staff and students. So, right now, it's a tough time, but I am waiting for the day. Trust me.
Can completely see this in the school. I can see them in the libraries, not just the school
Yes.
libraries, but also the public library. This would make such a fun summer workshop.
Yeah. You know what? Just to take a moment for myself, because I'm great, I have to say positive things about myself. One of the most touching days I've had recently, I was getting out of my car and I saw a mother and a young boy walking, and he looked like he was about 7 or 8 years old. And I wanted to show them the books and hand them one of my business cards. And so I walked up and said, "Do you mind if I give you my business card? I'm a new author and I write children's books, and I would like for you to look at my website." And I gave the card to the mother, and I had the book facing the little boy. And he smiled and he blushed. And it just blew me away because all this time I was working on the books, I was kind of shut in because of COVID. And when I did have someone read it, it was an adult. So for me, that day was so beautiful just to see his reaction to the cover. To say, it'll be all worth it. It's not the ideal time to be trying to connect with children in this situation as far as an author getting the word out about your book, but I cherish those moments that I have, and I know better days are coming. So I know I have a lot of fun activities and times with a lot of children ahead of me.
Actually, if anything, this is probably the perfect time because they can't go anywhere. They need more activities. They need the books. You're not going to get the one-on-one satisfaction to be like, oh
Right.
my God.
Yes.
Yeah. As an author, you don't get to see it, but they'll get to feel it. So it is definitely,
Yes.
how do you get that word out there now? How do you get it to the right hands? How do you get it to the kids? Because they need this. They need this at this moment. They're home. They're not being able to do their usual things. They're not able to play. They're not able to connect. And like you said, all the message they're hearing is coming either from the internet or TV. If you're not pouring into them, somebody else is. So this is beautiful.
Exactly. And thank you. It's opportunities like this that for a new author such as myself, this is amazing. So thank you. You're actually helping me with that right now.
One of the missions for this podcast is to highlight authors, is to give you guys a voice and give you guys a space. Because I tell everybody, when I started, God, I wanted anybody to talk to me. I didn't care. Like, I just wanted somebody to listen to me about this book that I had. And I was brand new. I was unknown. Nobody knew what I was doing. And I didn't fit the demographic. So when I started the
Ah.
podcast, I wanted to give an opportunity to authors who were passionate, who have a message, to be able to share it. So trust me, it is my pleasure. Absolutely.
Well, wonderful. To go back to the point that you made about the time right now and the fact that children need activities. As I was working with some teachers and preparing to roll out the book, getting their feedback and having them read and give reviews, one of the things they talked about was that lack of activity. So I have started what I call a friends club, and it's on Zoom. Basically, we get together once a month on a Zoom call. The whole purpose is for you to get on this call and talk about positive things you're doing. And I have all of these annoying sound makers and hand clappers and lights that swirl around, and I wear crazy hats to make them laugh. But basically, that's what I'm building now is an online friends club. There's so many negative encounters that are online right now for children. So many people are being a little meaner and nastier than they normally would when they're online. So this is just tell me what's going on. Let's talk about the positive things you're doing. I'll read excerpts from the book if they want me to. Just listen to the great things they're doing and say, hey, great job. I'm proud of you. So that's a club that we're building right now. If anyone's interested, they can go to my website, kidsmoresugar.com, and click on the Friends tab. Doesn't require you to buy any books. There's no fee. We get together once a month and have our call. The call is called Pop of Positivity Powwow. If you go to our news and events page of our website, you will see something advertised as our Pop of Positivity Powwow. And then we also have little fun competitions. So right now we're doing a coloring contest. You can do the activity at the back of the book, which is basically to draw an item from the book and then you write a positive statement about yourself. And I have some cool prizes to give away for any children that will participate. And if you cannot afford, or if you have not purchased the book, but you want to participate in the coloring contest, I have free coloring pages on my website. On that game page, you'll see there are 5 or 6 for you to choose from. You download a page, you color the picture, write something nice about yourself on the bottom, have your parents snap a photo of it and email it to me, and you can be in the contest whether you have a book or not. So
Elaine, I love the fact that you're connecting in so many different levels. And
we
you have
are
all
working it.
you are, and you have all these different ways for kids to be involved, how to participate, and how to bring back that message. One of the things I realized with kids is, I usually joke with them. I was like, "Can you look in the mirror and tell yourself you're handsome or you're beautiful?" And
Exactly.
they all giggle like, "Ha ha!" I was like, "Try it." They're like, "That is so weird." I was like, "But I want you to try it." Give that
Uh-huh.
an opportunity to look at the person in the mirror and do it. Say, way back in the day, I used to be a youth
Uh-huh.
minister, and I had one of the guys come back, and he was like, "So, Miss DC," I was like, "Oh God, what happened?" He's like, "I looked in the mirror today." I'm like, and it's like one handsome guy looked back, and I was like, "Thank you."
I love it. It's
But
so funny. But if you ask adults to do the very same task, you may not hear as much laughing, but you will get the same resistance and lack of confidence.
we have been programmed or reprogrammed to only look at the things that we're doing wrong and to
Yes,
criticize those things. And it's usually that continuous brainwashing mentality that there's something wrong with us. We're not perfect. We're lacking in something instead of looking at all the things that is perfect about us.
absolutely.
God didn't make a mistake. You're not here by accident.
Absolutely.
You have powerful message you're connecting. You have powerful ways of doing it that is still fun. I love the fun part.
Yes. And you know, that's the thing about the books. I talk about the message and the lessons because aside from positive thinking and speaking, I had two of the world's most awesome parents, the most. And they taught me such important lessons about life. Those lessons are weaved into the book. So there is the need for teamwork, patience, creativity, being an entrepreneur, being an inventor. There are so many lessons, ideas thrown into the books. And so that's a place where I just wanted to say, you know, in this book, why don't we have Will do this or Lil do this? And they're not going to all work out the way the kids want them to, because that's reality. But guess what? Even in those situations where things don't work out the way you want them to, you are still loved more than all the cakes, cookies, and ice cream in the world.
You know, I can't stop giggling every time you say that. I was just like trying to hold it in. I'm like, it is so hard, but it's so cute.
Yes, that's it.
You're adding life lessons on top of affirmations, which is an interesting combination and it can get very big very quickly.
Yes.
How did you manage to keep those lessons contained within a book that's still a children's book? How did you do that?
So, one of the things I found myself doing is doing a lot of descriptions of scenes and thoughts. And so the books were running a little long, and I still have to trim back my writing because of the age group. I don't want them to become disinterested. So, I realized I could get more to the point as long as the points are fun and engaging. I might not be describing the scene or what's happening in the background when Lil is walking to school or when Will is washing his bicycles, but you will get the main point. And I think with this particular series, because I have so many different things going on and my age group is so young, I had to simplify my sentences and just make sure that what was actually happening was something that would hold a child's attention.
It's a really focused way of looking at it because it is very easy to lose that focus that they
Yes,
have right there. Who
yes.
does your illustration?
Oh, I am so fortunate. So I have two girlfriends, and I adopted their sons and made them my sons, and they did the illustrations for me. So I have illustrator Angelo Walker. He did all of the books that feature Lil. And Onesimus Morrison did all of the books that feature Will. And I will tell you, neither one of them have ever done illustrations for a book. I'm a new author and I just started writing, and they enjoyed art when they were in school, but they had never done it professionally for anyone. So we got together and they were willing to help me. They believed in the message and they both had other full time jobs, but that's what they were doing at nights and in the evenings. They were fantastic partners in this. And I will tell you, we really have to give credit to illustrators because I named these characters after my parents. So I already had love when I was writing the story. But the day they showed me pictures of Will and Lil, it moved my heart. It took me to a whole nother level. It's like you just brought these characters who lived in my head for months to life. I credit just their natural talent. And then my nephew was my graphic designer. So he took those illustrations, put them in the right format. He did all of the covers. I was very fortunate that I worked with people I've all known and loved for years. And I got a great discount because I kind of helped raise all of them. Being a new author is not an inexpensive venture. So, yes, I had to say, do you remember that time when you were 5?
You took it back. You really brought them back. It's like,
Absolutely.
so I need some help. How are your skills
Exactly.
so far?
Exactly. No, so we pulled together. So this was, a team of people that just said, okay, we will get together and do it. We think it's worth it.
Anytime you have a mission that is this powerful and a message that is this important, people are going to rally behind you. So I can understand why they all came together and says we want to help. So
Yes,
yes,
absolutely. One of my favorite quotes, and I don't remember who said it, but basically the point is tell everyone what you want to do, and someone will help you do it.
that is a beautiful quote.
I love it. It has
One of
stuck with me for years.
one of my favorite ones is I want to say it's a Chinese proverb that says when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and it
That is
doesn't fail.
also one of my favorites. Absolutely. I love it. I have quoted it on multiple occasions.
I'm a true believer, and you probably have seen it, is when you're ready to take the next level, the people that you need in your
Exactly.
life show up.
Exactly. That's right.
As a new author, especially in the children's book category, what was one of the lessons you learned?
Wow, there were so many. So many. I guess one of the things I didn't even anticipate learning was whether or not I should be a self-publisher or go out and try to get a publishing company to get behind the idea. So I really didn't realize that was a decision I would be making. And I have to thank all of the experienced authors such as yourself who take time to tell their stories on YouTube, because that was my greatest teacher. Just going to YouTube, what are other children authors doing? How do you publish a book? And so going down that decision making process of, all right, this is a series that I want to continue. And suppose I am fortunate enough to get a publishing company behind me, but they don't want to continue the series, or they want me to do something with the characters that's not true to my mission and the main purpose. And so I'm protective over my babies. These are my babies. So I said, you know what? I'm going to raise my own baby. So with that, I decided to self-publish. I did not even anticipate that was going to be a part of it because I was new to this whole world. I believe that was the right call for me. So the decision to self-publish, there was a lesson in that.
The beautiful thing about it is it doesn't have to be one way or the other anymore. You can be a hybrid, which is I have lots of friends who are
Oh,
they're
awesome.
self-published in some areas, they're traditionally others. There's no longer that sense that you have to pick a side.
Got
You
you. Okay.
yes, you can do whichever way flows and makes sense to you. As an
Yes.
author, I think the beautiful thing about it now is that we have those options that we didn't before. You can experiment with our work. So, yes, don't lock that door because you might find a publishing company that blows your mind and wants to do something
Ah,
else with you.
awesome. Good point. Thank you. See,
Yeah,
there's
don't.
another lesson. It's so awesome when people have experience and they share. So thank you.
We have a very, and I say it very loosely because there's millions of authors writing, but as a whole, I truly believe we're a very small community. And one of the beautiful things about it is that we should share. We're not
Yes.
competing with each other. Not one author is going to be able to keep all the readers fed throughout it. You need a combination
Yes.
of us. So it's a beautiful thing. And it makes it
Yes.
easier. What are you working on now?
Wow. So right now I am working on two stories. So one of the 6 books that I put out that I just read to you, Lil Science Experiment, I'm writing part two. So you're going to learn a little bit more about Nikki and why she is so insistent on winning first place. And then I'm also writing part two to Will's new business. So that is the book where the little boy starts his own bike washing business because he wants to save money. You're going to find out a little more about one of the main characters in that book. There's a little boy who's always sad and he's by himself a lot. And he gets happier at the end of the first book, but you find out more about the things that are bothering him and how he's going to manage that in the second book. So Right now, I am working on both of those. And then I'm also just trying to get the word out about the children's club, just spreading the word using social media and platforms like this one, just to make sure everyone knows that it's an offer that I'm extending to kids all over. And then the other thing I'm doing is working on a curriculum for sugar. I actually want it to be a teachable program. That is a document that's taken some thought and some time, but I'm working on that. So that's what's keeping me busy these days.
You are a busy lady. That's a lot of stuff going on all at once. Amazing.
No, we take advantage and seize the moment, as they say.
As you continue to evolve in your process, what is the part that you enjoy the most?
I enjoy the idea of making a difference for someone. It helps you get through the times that aren't so exciting and are not so fun. There was a time where my book sat on the Amazon platform for 3 weeks and I could see them, but we had trouble getting the format right to get them out to the rest of the world. So I was so excited the day we uploaded them. It's like, oh, tomorrow or the next day, my books are going to be on Amazon. Wow. No, they're not on Amazon. And I had that same experience day after day, tried to get the format right. And so days where I was excited to write the book, or I would see a new illustration and I would be up, that was a challenging time. But I stuck it out and I thought about what the end game was, what's on the other side. And that's the piece that I enjoy most is actually having, kids get it and it matter and make a difference.
From when you're looking for inspiration, do you have a book that has inspired you the same way that you're hoping your books inspire kids? You have that book that you can think back and going, yeah, this made a difference in my life.
You know what? I don't know if this has anything at all to do with my topic, but my book was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That book was so exciting. Was so exciting to me, and there was so many things going on. Even today, I could read that book, and it's still interesting. I love that, but on a more mature adult level, not that I wasn't reading about a lot of things that I was taught as a child throughout my life, but The Secret. The Secret has a lot of those reminders for me to look at how things are working in my life and how I'm projecting onto those things and impacting my outcomes. So The Secret is definitely one of those books for me.
Your combination of Charlie and The Secret is quite interesting because it's
Right?
all in a way they both deal with a lot with imagination and a lot of do you
Yes,
believe that you can dream bigger than you are?
exactly.
So your message, I
Yes.
can see how subconsciously both of those books have definitely affected your writing.
Absolutely.
I love it. But for a brand new author that is getting ready to take this journey, says, I want to do that. What advice would you give them?
I would say believe in your own talent. However, do not underestimate the power of a good editor. So you are definitely talented. You can write a beautiful message. Find yourself a good editor, latch on to them, and don't let them go. And if they challenge you, then that's a plus. I had the best editor, Becca Weber. I would recommend her. She is the most patient person, the kindest, most encouraging person. But that role of editor is critical. And I definitely think a new author, you definitely want to find yourself a very good editor.
You need somebody that will challenge your ideas and still be supportive and nourishing at the same time.
Absolutely. And I was fortunate enough first time around to get that.
I am very, very happy for you. That is an awesome mission. And that's kind of the connection. Is that partner you need to
Yeah,
just to take your books to the next level and polish them up and give them that extra piece that makes it all come together.
exactly. And I like that you use the word polish. So I think that's how we should look at editors because
Mhm.
if you're excited about your project, it doesn't mean that you didn't do a good job, but a polish doesn't hurt anyone, right? So You have beautiful silver or china and glasses, and you still polish them. You have beautiful cars. That polish puts that finishing touch on.
It is taking your product and making it shine. That's what they're there for.
Exactly. Exactly right.
Every author just needs to find one that blends with them well, because not every
Exactly.
single editor goes with every personality. If you find one
That's
that fits you, power to you.
agree. Absolutely.
Madam, it has been such a blast to have you. Are you ready to switch the gears?
Yes, sure.
Okay, we're going to get ready to hit our lightning round. So these are easy, quick, don't think too much about them.
Okay.
So we're going to have some fun. Are you ready?
Yes.
So, first one, hot or cold drinks?
Hot.
Nice. Left Twix or right Twix?
Left.
Woohoo! You're the first person that actually answers without trying to question it. It's like, what? Huh? What did you say? I like. City or country?
Country.
Pretty cool. Snoopy or Scooby Doo?
Scooby Doo.
Sweet. Here's a little bit more challenging one. Let's see how you do. If you could pick one animal, real or fictional, that best fits your personality, what would you pick?
Teddy bear.
Why?
Cute, cuddly, but don't try to steal my honey.
Cute, cuddly, but deadly.
Yeah,
Fair
there you
enough.
go. When I need to be.
Here's your last one, madam. Let's see what you get out of this one. If you could be any Disney princess, who would you be?
Cinderella, she gets that big castle in the middle of Disney World.
Yes, she does, actually. That's a really good point.
That's good real estate.
And it's always clean and amazing. Absolutely great real estate.
Absolutely.
But where can our listeners find you? You gave us your website. Tell us one more time.
Yes, it's kidsmoresugar.com. Kids, and it's the word more, more, sugar, sugar.com. Kids more sugar. So remember when you hear that, I'm not telling kids to eat more sweets. It's kids more sugar. And sugar is saying unforgettable good affirmations regularly.
That is a powerful acronym that our kids truly need to know. But before we go, do we have any closing remarks for us?
I would just like to say thank you very much for this opportunity, and to all the listeners, please tell any children you know about our Friends Club. This is something new that we've rolled out. We're excited and we want participation all over the nation. I hope you purchase the books and enjoy them. Please reach out to me and let me know what you think. I would love to hear reviews and feedback. And thank you so much for listening and for this opportunity. You have been a great host, and I value this, my first podcast. So thank you.
Madame, for your first podcast, you did amazing. Thank you
Well,
so
thank you
much.
so much.
It has been such an honor and pleasure to have you. I love your mission. Continue to do it. Our kids truly need to hear it. And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Inside the Minds of Authors. Please go ahead, give this podcast a like, give it a review, share it with your friends. Let's continue to grow our community. And Miss Elaine, thank you for joining us. And everybody, we'll see you back next week for another brand new author. Thank you, everyone.